What do we know about George Washington, our POTUS1? In reality, most United States citizens know very little about the first president of the United States Constitution, in which we abide by today in 2025. What I mean by that is history keeps being washed over and over and over again, that the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States needs to be taught in our public school systems. Our way of life would be different. Our posterity and the children of this country will be different to understand and love freedom. And I think that because of that, people really don't understand the true psychology of our founding fathers and George Washington. Now, I wrote a book called POTUS1, and I wrote this book called On the Banks of the Potomac, all about George Washington and what he would do, stopping at what we don't know about him in our culture today. Now, I think that people want to emulate George Washington, but they don't know exactly what they would do, but then they go too far right, too far left, or too in the middle. What does the Constitution say? What does the Bill of Rights say? What does the Declaration of Independence say? And with that in mind, if it says Second Amendment, well, then everyone has a right to firearms. If it says free speech, everyone has a right to free speech. And everyone has a right to assemble. And then there's laws within states, federalism, and the state legislature and cities have their own laws as well. The people, we the people, the 9th and the 10th Amendment, in my personal opinion, are the most powerful amendments in the Constitution because it's about the people. And I think the most abused amendment in the United States Constitution in 2025, 2024, and before is the 14th Amendment. Not that that amendment is not a bad thing, but they overuse it for all these other random things to pull a little bit tiny little thing out of it to make a big case out of it. I don't really know, with everything that's going on in our country in 2025 and 2024 just ending, that's exactly what George Washington would want from the 14th Amendment. I think that there would be more grand scope of things and giving more power to the state legislatures in the 9th and the 10th Amendment for the 14th Amendment to really have its full power in what it was made for. That's my opinion. I'm not an expert or scholar. That's my opinion. But in reality, what we know about George Washington is very little, because there are so many letters and correspondence and things that we don't have about George Washington's life. I have read over 80 George Washington biographies. I have written a few George Washington biographies myself. And I just want to say there are some plot holes in the story about things that I have questions about. A lot of things, most things make sense. Some things have a little bit more question where you just have to be okay with not knowing. And I think that's the part about George Washington and POTUS1 that people should understand, and the founding fathers. You cannot just put your own thoughts into it because you think this is what it is. if it says Second Amendment or free speech, or there's a correspondence or a letter from this founding father or George Washington, then that's what it says and that's what it means. Don't read into it, don't read over it, don't read under it. That's what it is. And George Washington is not perfect. Nobody is perfect. And I think people look towards George Washington, Donald Trump, and any other president in this United States Republic as being perfect. Those people, those presidents are not deities, and they should not be treated as such. But on their character in what they do, in what these people do is what matters. They can say everything they want, but it's what they do in the fruit of their labor that matters. Don't forget to check out my books, On the Banks of the Potomac and POTUS1, both available on Amazon in the book category.